analytics for his team. That I guess is the MVP. I don't like it. It should be the analytic MVP, the AVP. But
So
anyway,
let's switch it up a little bit, JD. So I want to get your kind of outsider's point of view on something here. So let's jump on the pike and head east towards Boston here, and I want to talk about this Bill Belichick, Mac Jones, Bailey Zapp, all this drama going on in New England, and I want an outsider's perspective on it. So all of this drama that's going on where Mac Jones contacted Alabama and was talking to them like about the offensive struggles behind Bill's back, and Bill not showing any type of like throwing any type of support. Like normally when teams get their guy, right, and the media starts kind of poking and prodding, but you know how Bill is. He shuts them down. Yeah, what are you talking about? Mac's our guy. What do you like? There's like all this is stupid. Like, what are you guys talking about? Mac's our guy. We have our guy. There's no quarterback controversy. You know, Belichick over here shooting snot rockets at the media like he usually does, right? But like,
that's a really
you know what I
good
mean?
tip. Yeah,
Right? But that's
I
what I
like
mean. Like,
that wording.
but you know what I mean? Like, that's what he does. He just shoots snot rockets at the media all the time. And like normally, if like, because you know how he is, he don't feed into the drama and he just squashes it, right? Like if there's any type of drama, he's just like, no, what are you guys talking about? There's no quarterback drama. Mac's our guy. He hasn't said that once this year. And then all of this stuff starts coming out where Mac went behind his back. He's talking to Alabama. He's talking to all these guys. And just the overall way Mac kind of carried himself last year at times where you could tell he was not happy with Matt Patricia. He was screaming at him on the like, and the game that really kind of exposed how bad the situation was between Mac, Patricia, and Bill was the Bears game, dude. The Bears blew them out 34-20 or 20. The Bears dropped. Justin Fields ate that team alive. I was there at that game, and I've seen Gillette like hostile. You know what I mean? That the atmosphere towards Mac was hostile, dude. They booed him off the field for Bailey Zappi. Like it was bad.
That's wild.
They booed him off the field. What's up, Awesomeness Sports?
I actually remember that.
All this goes down, right? Like the whole last year season, how that went, like just the constant like banging of heads with Patricia and Mac on the field. And then all this stuff in the offseason where it's like, you know, Bill not really showing any, you know, not backing Mac. And then you have Mac going behind. So Mac has gone behind Bill's back on more than one occasion about like the struggles of the team instead of like going to Bill. Like, what do you, as an outsider, like, what do you make of like all this?
So I hate it. Bill Belichick is aging like milk. He is absolutely out of touch. I think he is a guy who gets close to people. And once he gets close to people, you know, he only wants to deal with those people. And outsider, he doesn't like to meet new people. He's not open to new things. He likes to do the same things over and over. And basically, you might help. Okay. And basically, I think that Bill, I think he's just, he's aging poorly. He reminds me of, what's his name? Popovich. I think I've said this before, is that Popovich and Bill keep kind of doing the same old thing because they think, you know, oh, I have all these championships, you know, it'll work eventually. So I just got to get the right players and we'll figure it out. And the truth is that the more Bill coaches and the more Bill GMs, the more we're realizing that without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, I don't think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time anymore. I used to. I think that he is a great coach, one of the best of all time. He is, maybe, you know what he is? The best defensive and special teams coach of all time. No question. He is. He should never have become the GM. He's kind of like Jerry Jones as a GM. He's very like, what the hell are you doing? You're just kind of off base and not doing things that are consistent. So whoever was the GM before, I forgot. I think it was like 2016 where he took over that role or something like that, or before that. I don't remember.
I'd have to go back and look for sure. He's been it for a while now. He's been the GM for a while. I think it's like I think it's like 10 years he's been the
And
GM.
Tom Brady recognized that. And a lot of people say that, oh, Bill and Tom just kind of had their drift. But the more you look back at actually what happened, it really was about the roster at the end of the day. So both the Bucks, Tom Brady never was about money. Everyone's like, oh, well, Bill just won't pay him and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that might be part of it. But I think it was more about he's not surrounding Tom with any weapons. He doesn't spend any money in free agency for some reason, unless it's on defense. And he asks everyone else to sacrifice things, and then he cuts them. So he's built up a lot of bad aura. You got Asante Samuel taking shots on Twitter. You got a lot of ex-Patriots taking shots on Twitter. He's not aging well. People do not like Bill Belichick anymore. A lot of people don't on the outside. They love Tom Brady now. Everybody loves Tom Brady because they remember all the good times. And also, you look at when Tom left, Bill went, he nosedived. I mean, everything has just been terrible. They've gone from the greatest franchise ever in all of football to an average franchise, maybe below average at this point. They're slightly kind of they're dipping. And that's my outsider's perspective. Here's what I would do to fix it. Unless do you want me to respond to that before I would
No, go for it. How would you fix it?
Here's
Seriously, I want to hear out an outsider's view.
If I'm
Seriously,
Robert Kraft, this is what I got to do. I got to say, all right, Bill, listen, I'll do this real quietly. Okay. We won't even tell anyone. Just be between me and you, Bill. I'm going to hire someone to be our GM. We'll call him the scouting director. Whatever. Just doesn't matter. You're the GM still. Whatever. Sure. You're the GOAT. All right, Bill. You don't want to mess with his ego because he's got a huge, giant ego, and you want him to stick around. He's still a good coach. Obviously, you don't want to lose him. You don't want him to leave on bad terms. You know what I mean? So you want to maybe go to the playoffs a couple more times with him and then say, all right, Bill, it's been good. All right, see ya. But while you find his replacement in the next 5 years, because he's getting old, But here's what I would do. I would hire a GM. You don't have to call him a GM. Doesn't matter. Hire a guy who knows what the hell he's doing. Relieve Bill of like 99% of those duties. Do not draft the people that Bill wants to draft anymore. Just stop doing that. Also, make it very clear to Bill that he can't hire. Also, yeah, that scouting director GM also gets to hire. That was the very key part of it. He gets to hire the coaches from now on. Bill can suggest some coaches, but for now on, he has to go through this person, whoever he is, whoever they decide.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do because you can't have Bill in this much control anymore. He's become so old and outdated. And here's the second part of my plan. Here's the second part of my plan. The final part, actually, it's very important. Right now, I would trade Mac Jones because clearly that's sour. That's just not going to work out. Keep Bailey Zappi. He's solid, right? Keep him. Trade Mac Jones. Get Lamar Jackson. Pay whatever you need to pay. Doesn't matter. Pay what you need to pay. Get Lamar Jackson. Build an offense around Lamar Jackson. Bill likes tight ends. So does Lamar Jackson.
Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Bill.
And that's pretty much my plan. Just give the offense to Lamar Jackson and some offensive coordinator. Give it to him. It's all you, buddy. And move on. And then Bill, you just do the defense and the special teams, and there you go. Boom, you're in the Super Bowl again. You can win another Super Bowl with that. So literally, if they just do that, why not?
Yeah,
he's good at O-line. He's good at defense.
There's one massive problem with that, right? So there's one massive problem with it. If Kraft, and I know this for a fact, like just because I've seen Bill and how if you go to Bill Belichick as Bob Kraft and say, Bill, we're taking the GM, because I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you, right? If you look at Bill's career as a GM, just the GM, not the coach, right? Just the GM. He's been average to above average. Let's call it average, right? He's been average as a GM. About maybe a 40% hit rate. You know what I mean? When it comes to things as a career, right? As a career.
I would argue Tom Brady covered up a lot of his problems, but
no, 100%. Like you add Brady's talent onto that. So let's say a 30 to 40% hit rate, which is pretty good. That's mid for a GM. That's mid. You know what I mean? Bill Belichick as a GM has been mid for his career. But he is one of, if not the greatest coach to ever coach. But the problem with this is, if you're Bill, if you're Bob Kraft, and you go to Bill Belichick and say, Bill, we're taking at this point in his career, right? At this point in his career, if you go to him this year and say, you know what, Bill, like, we're gonna take the GM role from you. We're gonna give it to somebody. Right? We're not gonna call him a GM, but we're gonna take that role for, like, I mean, like you said, right?
Yeah.
They give him a different title, but they strip him of the GM role, right? Do you know what Bill Belichick's gonna do?
What? Retire?
He's gonna look at Bob Kraft and tell him to eat his Patriot nutsack. He's leaving. If you
bye.
No, I'm serious. I'm
Yeah.
serious. This is absolutely what would happen.
Say
Just because
goodbye.
I know how Bill operates. Bill likes to have, like, complete control of a situation, so he can, that way, if he's got complete control of a situation, he can control all of the outside factors and manage them, right? Well, as soon as you add a GM into the, like, let's say you add another guy into that mix, that's something that he can't control. Bill is a control freak. He is. But that's why he's been so good at what he does, because he gets to see and control all of that stuff, and manage it. And is he good at it? Yeah. But that's so, if you lose Bill the GM, you lose Bill the coach. That's issue. That's the problem number one, right? So and I think, like, the whole Patriots drama has so many, like, different factors to it, right? Like, so they had to beg, like Matthew Slater and Matthew Slater, right? The special teams guy that came back for us, right? They had to beg him to stay, right? Like, he's wanted to retire now for probably 2 years. They begged him to stay. Bill is, in my opinion, now this is my take on this, right? Bill is worried about, because these young athletes are different, man. Like, let's be honest, the younger these new crop of athletes, come on, but this new crop different of athletes, they're just built different, right? Like, they want their financial gains, like, they know their worth. They're not gonna, a lot of them know their financial worth.
They don't
right?
take pay cuts anymore.
No, that's what. So,
they're not
but
doing
this
that.
is what I'm talking. So, that's part of it too. So, that's another aspect of it. He's worried about the locker room, because he almost there was division in the Patriots locker room last year. There was a crowd of guys that stood with Mac Jones, and there was a crowd of guys that stood with Bailey Zappi. And anytime a locker room is divided anytime a locker room is divided like that, no wonder why the offense struggled the way it did, right? I think Bill is having trouble with the locker room. That's another aspect of it. And then to get like Brady was what Brady did for Bill was quiet all the noise. Guys, the system works. Listen, the system works. It might not seem like it, or it might seem like we do a lot of stupid, crazy shit here for no apparent reason. But Brady was that calming, like, it works, guys. It works, right? That's what his role for the 20 seasons was. The system works, guys. Trust me, it works.
Tim Duncan.
And when you lost, right? When you lost that guy, like, that's what you lost. You lost that force in the locker room being like, it works, guys. Like, just trust me. You have to So that's like, there's a bunch of and then you have, there's so many different facets to why they're at where they're at. And Bill and Kraft, like, I personally think like the Lamar rumors have died down a little bit in New England, but I personally think that Kraft, let's be honest, JD, right? Like, letting the greatest quarterback on the planet walk for friggin' nothing was a mistake on Bob Kraft's part. And you can't tell me, if you're Bill Belichick, that wouldn't piss you off.
That was Bill. That was Bill's
fault. Because Brady went to Bob Kraft and said, "I want to go," and Bob. Bob just let him go.
Right.
He didn't put up a fight or nothing. So I think imagine
I do remember
you're
that actually.
running a company, right? Imagine you're running a company and you're like the COO, not the CEO, but the COO. And your
Right.
CEO has a conversation with your top salesman and lets him go to another company for free. Like, think about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and you lose all those
No
clients.
compensation. Imagine what the Patriots and Bill Belichick and all those guys at the time could have done with 3 first-round draft picks. Think about it, right?
Right.
Like 3
Absolutely.
first-round draft picks and probably $10 million in money.
At least
Like,
sign and trade him, where
but
he
that's
wants to
so
go.
they could have got so that I mean,
That was
Bill's
stupid. You're
in
right.
my opinion, Bill that burned Bill's ass. That right.
Yeah.
And then I think like Cam Newton, the way that they were setting the offense up with the 2 tight ends, with Cam Newton with a more like mobile kind of like RPO style, I think the Bears kind of fucked the Patriots over in that draft because do you remember when me and you
Could have gotten
were
Fields.
broadcasting it and I told you the
You
Bears
wanted
just
Fields.
jumped the Patriots and they drafted Fields.
Yeah.
I think the Pats, so because of the way right now that Bill and Kraft are acting towards one another, when was the last time you saw this many leaks on what's happening inside the organization get out? I think Bill and Kraft are acting the way they're acting towards each other because I don't think they wanted Mac Jones. I think they might have wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And guess what? Think about this. Cam Newton being a mentor for Justin Fields, it's not a bad idea.
That would be good. That'd be
That's
good.
not a bet. But I mean, if I'm just saying hypothetically, if that was their plan, that might have not have been a bad idea. But I think the Bears kind of fucked them because they were. Don't forget they picked. I believe they picked Fields at 11. Right? They jumped to either 9 or 11 to get him, and the Patriots were picking 15. I can absolutely see a scenario where that went down. And it would explain a lot of the actions of Bill and Kraft now.
I agree. I think that I definitely think that they didn't want Mac Jones. He kind of fell in their lap, and they said okay. So he's never been the guy. He's been a guy that they hoped they could develop into the guy, which is what's up, the QC. What's up, Bill? We're definitely going to talk about. We'll finish the pod. Is this okay with you, Bobby? We finish the podcast with the Bears.
Yeah.
All right.
What
Yeah.
up, QC? What's up?
But the last thing